which is, sometimes I'll be in the area. So yeah, if you guys need help with parts service, familiarization, once you guys get all spun up on the tech tool and process, you guys have any issues with that, you can give me a call. I can help walk you through any issues. But as of now, we'll go ahead and get started on this EC160. What I'd like to do, I like to normally start on this side of the machine and then kind of walk around. So we'll get everybody over here. So obviously, this is the entrance of the machine. You got your door here. Simple, just pull it open. Thank you. Got my lovely assistant Jason here. It locks here. So when I first started here, I couldn't figure out how to open it or how to close this door. I thought it was here. That is not the case. It is right here. So if you guys get in, you can't figure it out, just look right to your left. And you'll be able to
There's also that handle up there that you can grab to help shut it, so you don't have to reach up.
Oh yeah, when you're inside. Yeah, it's kind of a tricky angle to get when you're inside. You might have to come out a little bit, but you guys will figure it out. It's just the door. Just hit the left and go swing it. All right, in this compartment here, this is where your batteries are going to be, your fuses, your relays. You've got your John Deere switch in here, so if you have operators that prefer those kind of controls, you can switch it right in there. Also, this is your access to get up into the engine compartment. We can go up in there afterwards, and I can show you guys where to check the oil, coolant level, all that. The other side does look like it has some access. When you get over there, when you try to get up on the machine from the other side, you'll see a bunch of "Don't Step" on stickers, decals. So just kind of keep that in mind, that this is your access point to get to the engine, preferably.
Where's your switch for the controls?
Right here. This is your John Deere switch here.
Just in case someone switches it back and I can't figure out how to
it's
run
just
it.
It's like a little handle. It's not here no more.
Or if you ever get in it and it just acts funky, make sure that's not in the middle. You guys have probably seen that.
They
do wander.
You got your battery disconnect switch here. We definitely recommend that you turn this off whenever you guys are done using the machine, so that way you don't risk the killing these batteries, which are right here.
You mean it's by the day's end? Not every time you get out of it. Just
Yeah.
I'm sure they knew that, but I just wanted to.
Yeah. Well, thank you for clarifying. Yeah. Not the best at speaking. So I'm still working on my speaking. So go ahead and just turn that off. You can just close that. If you need to lock this up, you just put down the little metal piece, and you can put a lock right through this little slot here. Your air filter is here. Remove it by pulling this up.
The same key that runs the ignition does all the door
the doors,
panels?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So you pull that off, and you can pull out this air filter here. So you have an external air filter or secondary air filter here, and then you have your primary. So you check those periodically. Just check it once a week, make sure they're not all clogged up.
And if they do get clogged, it will generate an error code on the display.
Yeah, you can check in the actual machine too. It'll tell you your air filter, if it's dirty or clean. I'll show you guys all that as well.
You can keep going, Justin. I'll get that on there.
Okay. Get your weapon for that. And to close these two, don't just pull on them or push on them, because you're going to end up breaking this little bracket here. There's just a little pull, and then it closes right for you. So go ahead and move to the other side. Actually, we'll go to the back. So we got your camera here. If you guys get in your machine and you can't see out of your rear view camera, this is where it's at. Just wipe it off. And you can see again.
So there's 3 cameras on this excavator. They're all stitched together, so you'll have a 360-degree bird's eye view from inside the cab.
Can we run it from home?
That's coming. That'll be a software update.
Everybody else gets to work from home. The operator should be able to also.
Just won't have an air cleaner or engine oil, just have a lot of batteries.
All right, so go ahead and move over here. So this compartment here, this is your service side of the machine. All your filters and everything is on this side. It's easily accessible for your technicians. You got your air fuel separators here. So if you guys see water in here, just drain it out, and the tube comes out right under here. Anything else on this? Not really on this side. So yeah, that's pretty much the service side here.
Can you go through how to drain that real quick for him?
How to drain it? Yeah, you just turn this.
Well, they suspect that's where it fired.
And then it comes right out of there.
Okay.
And then a window for the fluids and dipsticks for all your levels. That was on the other side.
Oh yeah, I forgot to show you guys I always miss that hydraulic level. So because they put it in a weird spot. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of the wheel loaders. Hydraulic levels in here.
There's another camera.
Oh, there's your window, your hydraulic.
Okay, yeah, so right in there. And the wheel loaders, it's on the other side.
Hey, when we check the hydraulic oil, do we want to stick out?
Yeah, there's a picture. It's always like this.
Is that service position 1?
I'm not sure if it's 1, but I just
follow the
every excavator of ours goes the same way. It might be difficult with that on, but get as close as you can. You'll be fine. Also push the. Did you already say? Depress this and let it.
Not yet.
Okay.
Is there a hot and cold level too? So like if you check at the same time of day, every day?
I would check it. I would always check it first thing in the morning. That'd just be me. That way you get an idea when it's cold. But I always go up and make sure you don't have any tank pressure. Sometimes it'll be full, but it will be out of the glass until you push that button and it'll walk in the glass.
So,
But
yeah, it's just sitting there. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. All right, you got a little toolbox here for anything you guys want to put in here. Don't recommend putting small things because there are holes in here that will fall through. So if you put small things in there and you go to find them, they may not be there.
Before I forget, the grease for the head, is it regular GP grease or Molly grease?
We'll have to get an answer for you on that one. It's not a VOLVO product. It's from a different manufacturer, but I'll get an answer for you.
And the grease for the machine, Molly or dinner?
I will send you a spec. There's 3 or 4 different ones you can use. But I'll send an email to you guys with all the specs if you have it. I would just use GP, but
Okay, because I seen you had the gray grease in it. And
right.
usually that's Molly. Grease.
I'll print out the specs and send it to you guys.
Yeah, it's not saying anything in here.
Yeah, most of the heads will run the Molly grease, and then we use the GP on everything else. But for the head bearings and
I'm
stuff.
going to get a call right now to get an answer.
Okay.
While we're doing this.
All right.
The most expensive grease you can find.
Yeah.
All right, up here, this is where you're going to go ahead and fill your DEF. You got your DEF tank here, and then you've got your fuel over here. And then
I'll talk to him about regen right now. Or...
We'll wait.
do what?
All right, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, so yeah, so DEF, fuel, don't mix the two up, you'll have problems. You've got we've got a lot of grease fittings on this thing. Pretty much anywhere there's a connection, and then you've got a little grease block here as well. If you guys forget where all the grease points are on this other side, there's what we call our maintenance racetrack, and it's on the door. So if you open up the door here, this will show you where all your grease points are and whatever interval they're at. So easy way to find all the grease points, because we have so many machines. I don't remember where all of them are. If you forget, you just follow these down. So for example, 50 hour, 250 hours. If you're about to do your 250 hour maintenance, just go to 250 and follow it around. So if you follow it around, it goes to a little grease gun and it points exactly where to grease. So follow it around, another grease point. So pretty self-explanatory, not too difficult to figure out.
There's another one of those in the operator's manual too. So, and besides the grease intervals, it also has all your other service points there too.
Also, I brought these to leave in the machines for you guys. They're quick reference guides. So if you guys forget anything that we talked about today, or you guys have any questions, you can refer to this. If you can't find it in here, you can give us a call and we'll get you guys what you need. So like I said before, this is the access point to get to the engine compartment. Engine compartment has 2 latches up here. You just pull them down it lifts right up. So you'll have your coolant expansion tank up here. Just make sure it's within the min-max level. You can check your oil level over here. It's the red dipstick. And that's pretty much everything up in here. And to close it, there's a little handle here. Just pull up on it. It'll release this little mechanism, and you'll be able to shut it. Alright.
Shut down immediately. Imminent, catastrophic engine.
Alright, so we can go ahead and hop into the cab now.
And it was April 1st when I called this. I thought, this is.
Just the operators that want to go through this, or everybody going through the controls and everything?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll probably do.
I got a question before.
Yes, sir.
This master carry the head, if this motor comes apart, is it the fluid filtered before it gets back to the unit? Or
What's that?
if this blows apart, is it going to contaminate the whole hydraulics for the unit? Is it filtered before it gets back in the tank, or is it filtered?
It's filtered when it picks it up out of the tank. However, there is typically it's filtered both ways, on its way in and on its way out. So there is a canister right here.
So
that'll
it should
capture-
catch shrapnel from
Right.
this before it goes in. Okay.
Right, there's a big canister here to catch everything.
All right.
Yeah, there's one over for it. It's in the processor mash. It's an option. Yeah, it doesn't come on all machines.
Okay. Alright, so I get.
Yeah, for any reason you guys need the machine serial number, it's right here on the side of the cab. So if you guys are ordering parts, or you're gonna tell Megan, whoever orders your parts, they're gonna need that serial number. So
Total in the spreadsheet.
The whole thing, or you like
just the
last
6.
eight?
Well, we
Last 6.
Last 6, and you can
actual
also
numbers on it,
find that on the inside of the machine too. You don't have to get out. There's
Like the machine model.
through the actual display, you can find machine serial, hours, even work timers, all that stuff. So let's get two guys up in here so I can run through some of the buttons and features. Anybody? Any volunteers first? No?
Greg.
Yes, sir.
He's looking for a volunteer.
You guys are using it for this.
Go over some of the controls. It'd be easier to get, we have time to get everybody in there? Probably not, huh?
Whatever it takes.
Alright. So here's your nice comfy cab. Starting over, let's actually go ahead and turn on the power, might as well, that way you can get through everything. Oh, have the battery disconnect off.
We're down.
Excuse me. We need service. Get it from that way? Alright, you should have power now. Just need to turn on.
Hey, one thing I want to point out too.
Maybe grouping them together.
This right here is your emergency kill switch. It's not your battery disconnect.
That's for emergency only.
So that's if you have like a guy's injured in the cab or whatever, you need to stop the engine really quick. You want to use that, but you don't use this as your battery disconnect.
It can cause engine or ECM damage as well.
Okay, and then you turn it back on, you just push it down.
Yeah, so like in the event that this thing is used, activating when it's on, it's up. When you want to shut it off, just do that.
Okay.
It'll give you power back. Hopefully, if it's not damaged. All right. So up in here, we'll start with. So you found your rapid button. So obviously, if you press that down, that's going to be your speed.
So and that's adjustable. So every time you bump it, it raises the RPMs, or is it just
No.
high?
So that's going to be this over here.
Okay.
That's going to be your RPM control here. So this is your rabbit mode, and so.
Oh, just for traveling?
Yeah, for traveling.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
you want to activate this when the machine is stationary. If you're moving and it's in turtle mode, which is back, and you say you're moving forward and you press this, it's not going to engage until you stop.
And then it'll
then
go on by itself if you stopped, if you had it on.
Yeah, exactly. This is your quick coupler. I'll show you how to use that probably after I go run through everything else, because that one's a little more complicated. There's a few steps for it. I'm not sure. Are you guys only using that head on it, or are you guys going to switch it out?
We got a bucket coming, and
Okay.
hopefully a thumb we'll
so
weld
then-
on at some point. So.
Gotcha. So you will want to know how to use all that then. Okay, so this here is your active your control panel to get into the display. So if you press select, it'll go into this whole menu here, and you'll see engine, hydraulics, electrical system, etc. If you press select on it, you can see a bunch of information: pressures, levels, your regen. You can start a regen or stop a regen. You don't want to actually stop a regen if it's going, because obviously you know.
And you don't have to do any. If it's regenning, you can just keep running.
Yeah, so there's two different regens on this machine. There's a passive regen, which it's constantly doing when you're running the machine. That's why we tell people when you're running these things, just run the shit out of them. Run them hard, because the harder you run it, the hotter it gets, the more soot you're going to be burning off. And then there's a parked regen, which is usually done every 500 hours, and that takes, depending on how much soot you have in your DPF, that could take anywhere from 45 minutes to hour and 20.
You just don't want to shut the machine off when it's doing that.
Exactly.
Just let it run.
Just let it do its thing.
And it'll tell you on the
It'll
screen
let
if
you
it's
know.
the high or the low. Okay.
It'll tell you. It'll say, hey, parked regen required, and you just go park somewhere safe where you're not going to catch anything on fire. Just press, I believe, press select, and it'll start the regen.
Won't do it on its own. It just says it's required.
It'll say required, yeah,
Okay.
because it's not gonna just start regenning if you're like in the middle of a work cycle and you're like, oh crap, now what am I gonna do?
Right, gotcha.
So it also tells you how much soot you have in the DPF, and then it'll give you the regen process progress. You can turn on your delayed engine shutdown if you want to. That's just to pretty much prevent hot turbo shutdowns. Because what I see a lot on these machines is guys, they run these machines really hard, like we tell them to. But then when they go park it, they just turn it right off.
Right, you want to let her idle down.
Yeah, at least I say at least 5 minutes. It could be more.
And you can get it to do it on its own.
Yeah, so that's the delayed engine shutdown. So you can turn it on, and once you turn that on, you can set a time limit as well. Yep, and then it should. I believe you can set the time limit in the settings. So if you press escape and then go down, set up auto idle time, and then you can do, so there's right now it's 5, oh that's auto idle, it's not auto shutdown. So I wonder if
that's auto idle.
yeah, so this machine will also,
If you stop moving it, it'll just idle down. Okay.
So it'll do that too. So I'll have to figure out how we can we might have to set it through the tech tool, which might be something you guys may be able to do. I'll have to double check on the delayed engine shutdown for you.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure. I thought it was in the setup, but I guess it was just that auto idle time. So I will look into that for you. So yeah, what I was talking about earlier, so this vehicle information, this is where you're going to find the serial number. You'll find operating hours, and then I believe the work timer is down below that. Yep. And there's, you can keep on scrolling down. So yeah, your fuel consumptions, that's your average fuel consumption. So any information, if you guys keep track of any of that stuff, you can find it all on the vehicle information.
Yeah, it's not like you have a fleet of these going where you're looking to see if someone's working hard and someone's not working hard. It's just that's something we're probably not going to mess with. But the auto idle, so escape.
So yeah, escape's your back button. Select will put you back in the menu.
I don't know how many acres.
So like 10 seconds. If you stop doing everything, 10 seconds, it'll idle down on its own.
Yep.
Okay. I'll leave it at 10.
All right. And then if you press escape out of, actually, I think you press OK.
Which one's
I'm sorry, select. There you go. And then so X1 work tool. So if you go into that one, that's where you're going to set up your whatever attachment you have on there. So if you go in there, the password I believe is 1234. And if you look in here, there's numbers associated with each of those buttons. So it should be 1, 2, 3, and then 4.
Adaptable to the, we got 220 out to that sawmill.
So yeah, so if you guys need to add or change flow or anything, depending on whatever head you guys have on there, you can go in here and change all that stuff.
Okay, so now what's on new?
So new is where it's if you were going to program a new head onto this.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would you would name it, and then you would set the flow and pressure and everything like that on what you guys are using. If you press escape and go to change, there should be some stored in there. So yeah, so you have the Raptor on there. You can change it to put a thumb, a shear, or a hammer.
Okay.
So
I get to that on work tool and change if we're going to change something. Okay.
Yep.
So we'll leave it on Raptor.
okay, and then go ahead and escape. We'll send you back. And then, yep, so that's pretty much everything with display. Right below your hand there, that's where your work modes are.
Throttle.
Yep, so you've got I, which is your idle. You've got F, which is your fine mode. When you're going to F, what's called is power boost starts activating, and you have more power and you have finer control.
Okay.
G mode is going to be your most fuel efficient mode. So if you guys want to work in that mode, I guess you can.
We're probably going to work in high.
Yeah, so high is going to be for your hard work, your hard digging and things like that. And then another mode that you have on here, so when you're in high, if you press down on that, it'll put you into what's called power max mode, and that's even more power for the machine, and that'll get you for like extra hard, extreme, whatever.
If you're digging on something really hard, but it wouldn't necessarily need it for this head.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean.
And then how would you get it off of that? Just push it again, and it doesn't show that on there though.
No, it's not going to show it. So it won't show it until I believe you're in here, and then when the machine's running, because then it goes, into the power max.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so that's your throttle. You have your. I think this is your auto idle shutdown there. So
so that was the same thing I set for 10 seconds?
Yeah, so if this button's not on,
then it'll just keep
just keep doing it. Yeah. That's your hammer shear button.
And we don't need that for anything we got here.
Yeah, you don't need that. This is for if you guys are pipe laying, which I don't think you guys will be doing.
Just if you're doing crane work, like
exactly.
lifting. Okay, that just puts more power for your lift.
Exactly.
So what about if we change heads?
It didn't show up. It had sent to Hawaii.
We just leave it on Raptor, like if we had a different, or this head blew up or something. This thing adjusts all over.
Supposed to be there. Well,
Okay.
He lives in an apartment.
And that's just your travel alarm. You
Yeah.
shut that off while you're walking or something
Yeah,
if you're done with that.
exactly.
And then
Eco mode is just to help you save gas. And when you're actually utilizing the machine, they recommend that you turn it off.
okay. And how do you activate the head?
That's going to be this here. So this is your X1 control here. And then this
You
here.
don't have to hold that on, do you?
I don't know. I don't know if they have that set like that. It is a proportional valve. So typically with these, you do have to hold them.
That's just
But
dumb.
that's what that pedal is for too. I believe that pedal is an X1 pedal, so that keeps it going as well. And you can actually lock that pedal down
That's
to
what
keep
we
it
want.
going.
Okay. How do you lock that?
So see that little knob down there?
Yeah.
Whatever position you have it in. So this little knob down there, whatever position you put it in, and then you just lock it with this little knob. It's hard to do with one hand, but it comes out, and then this goes down, and lock it. Oh, if I hit it though, in the. Yeah, you gotta turn it. It's really difficult to do. All right.
Megan is gonna get.
All right, can you go further?
That's all the way down.
All right.
Okay.
There you go. All right.
We got fellas.
And now to
Sorry. We're showing them how to lock the X1 pedal.
So how do you do it? Let's recap on that.
All right. So you pull that out. So this is how it sits.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you want to lock it, you just push that down. You pull out the little knob, turn it up, and then put it in the little slot, and it'll lock it in place.
Okay, but you can't lock it from up here with this.
I don't think you can lock it up there with that proportional valve on the joystick. And that also locks it in place too.
Okay. Yeah, I keep a roll of tape in the other one so you can tape this on, because you're not going to sit like this for 8 hours with your thumb in the same spot.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man.
Okay.
All right, so also on this joystick, so there's a button under here. I think it's unassigned right now. They haven't assigned it to anything. This one here is going to be your Power Max mode. So you see that little button there? So Power Max is usually used for digging applications. When you need extra power or you need max power for a certain amount of time, you press that button. It'll come on for 9 seconds and you'll have max power to dig and fill whatever bucket you're trying to fill. And then if you want it again, you just press it again. Or if you want it on constantly, F mode is always Power Max. Power Max will always be on in F mode.
Okay.
So that's how that works.
And then this one?
That one's supposed to be boom float. I don't think this machine came with it because I'm not seeing the
icon there.
Yeah, the light come on. But that's typically what this button does.
And that one's not assigned, okay.
And that one's not assigned. Same with this one under here. The button under here is not assigned as well. This should be your horn. And then this one's going to be your quick select mode. So if you go back into your menu, you can set this button to either be your camera change, an audio mute, or I believe there was one more thing. So if you go into setup, joystick short key.
Oh, that one. When we were driving
So yeah, you can set your joystick short key if you press select on that. So you can do it to activate your wipers, your camera, or your audio mute. So
This one?
Right button, yeah, that one. This one here.
Oh,
So right now it's on audio. So if you have like a radio or something in here and you're blasting your music and they're like, hey, trying to get a hold of you, you just press that, it'll audio mute, and then you can talk on your radio. Or if it's raining and you don't want to use the wiper switch over there, you can set this up for your wiper, and it'll go from there. Just little bells and whistles for you guys. So yeah, like I was saying before, you've got your windshield wiper settings over there. You just turn that windshield wiper. If you press it in, it'll squirt. Below that is your radio control. So you can hook up your Bluetooth or whatever you want. And behind your elbow actually is where the radio is located.
Okay.
So, and then you got speakers above your head. Also behind your right shoulder is the emergency exit hammer.
Okay, let's not use that.
Yeah, let's try not to use that. You have an emergency.
And your air conditioning, that's...
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I missed all that. So air conditioner is right here. So that's going to be your fan control. This is your lights, defrost. You've got your auto. So this is going to be the auto fan. So if you press that so you can hear it. So that's your auto fan. And then this is your cameras. So if you get up to there. So there's that bird's eye view he's talking about. So it takes the image from the left, rear, and right, and gives you a bird's eye of everything around.
Okay, and then to move that around.
So you can't really move it, but you can press it again, and it'll zoom in, or it'll go back. And then I think that's all you can do with that. You used to be able to do like a left and right. That might be in setup though.
Yeah, unless it's playing a movie, I'm probably not going to watch it.
That's fine.
Well, fire this jewel up. Uh-oh.
Fire it up with the windshield wipers.
Yeah, make sure they're clear.
Oh, too late. All right, and then over here, I actually missed some of this stuff. So you got some lights over here. So this is your interior cab light, and then this is your beacon. This button here corresponds with your quick disconnect. So now that the machine's on, I'll show you exactly what to do with this quick disconnect. So if you want to change out that head, all you have to do is press this in. Oh, sorry, we need to put hydraulics on first. So the flag needs to come up. All right. It's telling you that your seatbelt's not on, which it's not because we don't need it on yet. So you press that button and it'll tell you unlock quick coupler. So once you see that, you come over here and you press this button.
Okay.
And you hold it for 3 seconds. And then it'll unlock. So now it's telling you that the quick coupler is unlocked. So now we can disconnect that unit.
Okay, and to lock it back up.
And then to lock it back up, you just go over here. You press down.
And you probably have to cycle it back to get that to.
Yeah, well, sometimes you do.
Okay.
You want to bucket curl all the way in and deadhead it, and then it'll give it enough
Yeah,
pressure.
it's similar to how.
But sometimes it'll do it without.
Okay.
So now that you have this unlocked, or you have this locked, it says confirm that it's locked. So you'll confirm it with this over here. You press and hold, and it shuts that thing off.
Oh, okay.
So you just press this button over here for 3 seconds, and then it'll, see now it's going back on. Oh, it's because your seatbelt. So yeah, so that's how you use that. You use that. So right over here, I believe it was. Wait, this one. This one. Oh, here it is. Okay, so yeah, the seat. So there's an indicator down here. So if you lean forward, there's a, you see right here? See that red?
Yeah.
So you want that to be green. So you hold this button over here up until it changes green. And that's going to be your optimal ride height. I need to work on my filming while talking skills.
Something.
I'll edit it out.
Maybe some metal or slinky things. I guess there's no good way around it. We have new attachments. Have you guys seen the hose attachments? It's pretty cool. I'm the most skeptical. Yeah. All the oil's done through the compass. There's literally a plunger and a receiver in the coupler. You don't even get out of the cab. You just swap heads. Put on the breaker. You don't even get out of the cab. I'm super skeptical because, like you said earlier, the SCR system, the emission system, is the most temperamental part of this machine. If you're clean and you use good def, you're not going to have many problems. If you do get SCR failure ever, first thing you always do is check def fluid. Just make sure you're up to fluid. If it runs low, you will have issues. So make sure you keep it from running out and make sure you keep it fresh.
And put fresh def in it. How do you guys do that right now, def? Are you using jugs, or are you using pumps, or are you using?
Got
Got it.
The problem, though, that I could see is we'll use this for masticating, and then summer will come, we can't masticate anymore, and it's just going to sit until we need it as a digger again in 3 months.
That's what I
So
was saying, telling Dan, you guys got to run this thing as much as you can, but
Because it's new.
you know, we were talking about it with your techs earlier. You have to drain the DEF fluid if you're, you know,
If it's gonna
for any
store
long
for a
period
while.
of time, yeah.
Have a drain, and it is in process also.
Okay.
On how to drain the def tank.
Okay.
But you're also
No worries.
gonna, like, even if you're not going to hit 500
I'm
hours,
assuming you pop this cover off
that's
and it's right there.
serviceable 500 hours or 1 year.
we have it set up a little bit different, so that we do get them every year.
Okay.
Right.
So at that time, you probably drain it and put fresh fluid.
That,
you
if
need
it's
to
in the
do
steps,
Yeah.
you know, if it's in your job plan, we'll transfer it over to our job plan, and
Okay. Sorry.
is that going away in 2023?
No, it's not. Because they're going to tier 5.
Tier 5.
Tier 4 stage 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's really, it's a European standard anyways.
Well,
and we're set up for it already because it's basically, I think it's the addition of a particulate filter into the system. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. I've heard mixed
From
things.
what I understand, that's the difference. So like some manufacturers will have their, I'm good. Will have the Tier 4 final system, but they don't have they have other systems. They don't have a particulate filter incorporated into it, where ours do, and then that gets us ready for it.
I want to take pictures of it for this
Some of
film.
our machines are already staged.
There you go.
I was talking to it.
I've heard that.
That's on trucks.
Well, I've heard
So if
that,
you can hold out till 2023, you don't have to worry about it.
but I don't think it's that close. Maybe.
Jason's got a fully electric.
Right. I don't even think we're trying to get away from DEF. We're trying to go electric. I'm assuming that's where they're throwing resources.
Oh yeah, they're going crazy at our company with the electric side. Bonkers.
If you guys wind up having major issues because of reception, let us know. There is an offline version. The only thing I don't like about the offline version is as things are changed, obviously it doesn't keep up. But it's better than having no reception and not being able to use it at all. Okay, so here's Process. Process basically is parts, service, and operations manuals for every Volvo machine. Okay, so this is going to give you, if you were going to look up parts, you come to this. If you were going to look up specs, if you were going to look up a procedure, if you were going to look up how to operate a machine, everything's in Process. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay. All right. So the first place you want to look when you're on this site is you're going to always go to products first. We're going to come down to excavators and EC160E. Let's see here. All right, EC160EL. All right, so now once you have it up here in this profile, you have the choice to either go to parts, service, or diagnostics. I'm going to go to the parts catalog. Once you get to the parts catalog, it's going to ask you to select which one. Typically there's a break in serial. This one does not, so we're just going to click the only one that shows serial numbers. And Volvo is big on this 1 through 9. 2 is always engine, 3 is always electrical, and you guys will eventually, you know, remember all that. But it's pretty straightforward. If you wanted to look up a part, you come to engine, you'd break this down. Fuel system, you'd break it down, and it would just give you just piece by piece. All right. Part numbers are all going to be down here. Quantities are all going to be down here. If there's any question, if there's 2 or 3 different of something, then it's going to say over here there's going to be a little breakdown that tells you, hey, serial number here and here, use Q1, right? There's Q1 through 5. This machine doesn't have any of those in this specific page, but if it said, you know, serial number 5722, use Q2, then you know to use Q2 depending on what you have. But this is something you're just going to want to mess with it. Let's go to service. So once you click service, I always go to show all right here. It's going to just, I don't want it to be a real narrowed search. I'm looking for broad information. All right, so is there anything specific you guys want to look up in service? Or I could pick something that you have on your mind, or anything you want.
About like, about quantities?
Quantity, okay, good idea.
Capacities or
good idea. Okay, so we're in service. We're in show all. We're going to go to standard parts and service. We're going to go down to service. We're going to go down to maintenance, and this is going to tell you, first of all, it's going to give you a list of everything you do every 50 hours, every 250 hours, every 100 hours, 1,000 hours. And if you were to scroll down here,
Do or supposed to do?
The answer is yes.
let's see, where's capacities? There we go, lubricant, fuel, and other. Okay, so lubricants and filling capacities. All right, and you'd have them all here. It's not, you will have to mess with this to find these things. There is a tree search. Let's see if it works for this. If you go right here. Okay, it brought it up. So I typed in capacities and it brought up.
Oh, okay.
So use that. There's also a search over here. If you were in parts, let's go to that. If you were in the parts catalog and you were looking for, say, an alternator and you didn't want to go through all these, you could go to this search window. Okay. You're on parts. You could use part number, name, or remarks. I'm going to go part name. Now you see there's an asterisk. It's going to want you to put an asterisk before and after, and it's going to search everything in between. So asterisk, let's put alternator, asterisk again, enter, and it's going to give you the two possibilities, the 2 pages. Click it open, and there's your alternator.
It's important not to forget about the asterisks. Because
Right.
if you don't put the asterisks in, it may not find what you're looking for.
Right, it separates out whether it's the exact phrase or anything
Right,
with that
anything
word
with-
in anything.
Yeah. It's kind of goofy.
So let's go to diagnostics. Once you go to diagnostics, the first thing you're going to see up here is a search window. And this is where you'd put your code, P203102. All right, let it kind of filter down. There's 2 different possibilities. Oh, no, that one's P. Okay, there we go. There's only one. So you're going to click on it. Anytime you see accessing server, just let it be. It's doing its thing. And then once it says idle, you're done. So here's P203102. The code is exhaust gas temperature sensor bank 1, sensor 2, general signal failure. Failure event value out of range has been detected. It says it's detected on A34. A34 is a wire. So if you really wanted to get into it, you'd go to A34, you'd go into a schematic, find A34, and you could troubleshoot that way.
And we got books too, right? We got the books. We got. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, everything you're doing
think
right
so.
now, is that online?
Should all be in presses too.
This is online.
Okay, so it's not a digital. Is all that available in
I
digital?
can get it on a thumb drive, but
Obviously, it can't be updated and doesn't
right,
stay up with
right.
codes and
But we can get a thumb drive. This is preferred, but if you guys have reception issues, cool,
Yeah, we usually have
Awesome.
reception issues.
Wow.
We like old school stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on the books. I do love this program, but finding stuff can be difficult because there's just so much information. But if you were to, if you wanted to troubleshoot this code, it kind of gives you a list of symptoms. And then if you scroll down, it's going to give you possible causes, right? It's going to give you 5 or 6 different causes there. And then it's going to give you down here in actions, descriptions and measuring. So anything Volvo, see how it says SE2521 descriptions and measuring. SE is always a sensor. All Volvo sensors start with SE and then a 4-digit number. And if you wanted to perform that test, you would click on that link and it's going to give you the tools that are needed, which this is if you owned all these breakout boxes and harnesses, which I was a tech for a long time with Volvo and I did it another way, right? You don't have to have all that stuff. It gives you the schematic that it would be on, gives you a very simple picture of the sensor they're asking you to test. It's just a 2-wire sensor, goes to the ACM. There again, it gives you the plug numbers on the ACM. And then it's going to tell you the resistance and where to test it. Right, so this first one, measuring point, you'd go from pin 1 to 2, resistance according to table below. Okay, so it's going to depend on temperature for this particular test. You can also check 5-volt feed, you can check ground. Really, this is I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Some of our symbols and stuff may not be stuff you guys are used to, but if you stare at it, you'll figure out what they're asking you to do. And active care, when we get an active care case, it'll say do description and measuring SE2521, and then you could go straight to that. So you could either plug into the machine, pull a code, go in the display, pull a code, or look at your email from an active care case and pull the code and then troubleshoot it. So you have multiple ways of doing it, whatever works better for you guys.
Yeah, it just depends who gets the email on that.
Right, and I can include as many people as you want too. I can set, you know, if you guys wanted 20 people to receive error codes from this machine,
I'll pass.
we could do that too. And they're all.
Last time you checked your email?
I mean, on my phone.
We also have we have a CareTrack website. I'm not even going to go into it because the CareTrack website is basically where if I wanted to communicate with your machine, I'd go in there and look at it and pull codes. But Active Care uses CareTrack, extracts information, and shares it with you guys. So you don't need to go on this CareTrack website. I probably shouldn't even bring it up. But if you were like, where's our machine? I can't find it. I don't know where it's at. You could go on there and find its location. That happens a lot, yeah. All right, so that's Process, and I will be sending all you guys a link and login information on that so that you have it. And then let me go and see if Tech Tool's working here. Key's got to be on, obviously, for Tech Tool. Okay, Tech Tool is not web-based. You can use it offline. The only time you'd want to be online would be for doing software, but obviously you guys don't have that capability, so we're going to work offline. Those are the two options when you go to log in. It's going to ask for a user ID, a password, online or offline. If you don't put a password, you can work offline, which is what you guys are going to wind up doing.
No, we got 6, 7, something like that,
And this is the first time that this has been booted up since he did an update. So there's extra steps here that you're not going to see. All right. So this is the home screen. It's communicating right now. Eventually it'll populate with.
Can you just add water if you don't have to?
All right. Similar to Process, if you see anything moving, Tech Tool is extremely slow and it's really temperamental. Okay. You know, I don't know the answer to that, but it may be. It's asking me for a work order. The reason it's asking for a work order is because you could come back 2 weeks from now and you can see everything you did. Or you could send it to me and say, Jason, I got something going on and I don't know, you know, I need some guidance or something. I could say, send me that job card and I could show you how to send it to me. And then I can literally watch every step you did. And if you did a test, I can see how the steps, you know, how the test worked out. Okay, so I'm going to push start work. It's asking me if I want to connect Essential Systems. I do not. And let it go through its motions here. Okay, so it's already connected to the machine. It says selected product EC160 gives you the serial number. This is the home screen. There are multiple tabs up here. You have product history. Product history would be, okay, you want to see a job card that you saved from 2 weeks ago. It would be in there. Diagnose and test are the two places you guys are going to use. Calibrate you won't use and program you won't use. All right, so let's go to diagnose.
At our hotel, they had like a Mardi Gras thing.
What hotel is this?
Or a Fat Tuesday. Groveland.
Groveland Inn or Groveland Hotel?
Nice place.
Yeah, it looks real good.
They had like a Fat Tuesday thing, and we were joking around. The guy was like,
It was a
I
little.
accidentally dropped it on the floor.
Pretty sure they don't have a food license.
We went for a walk afterwards, and it was just like, crap.
All right, so yeah, as you guys see, this thing just. Okay. All right. So it's showing here. This is going to be your error code list. Looks like there's an inactive code, which is the same one we saw in there. It's going to give you the same information that was in the display, the code, a description of the code, whether it's active or not, how many counts, and when the dates were. You do have an active code. This active code right here is actually just set because I don't have the machine set up with active care, which I will today, and that'll go away. But if you're looking at error codes, there's nothing more you do from here. You're going to now take that to process. Really. If you were troubleshooting by code, you would take it to process. So the next thing you want to do is test. This is where I would spend most of my time, or what I do. I work with a bunch of techs throughout the state, and I can look at their computer screens, and this is where I have them go. You can see every value of every sensor on the machine.
And does it give you like what the value range should be between like?
It's in process.
Oh.
It would be nice if it were here, and some things are getting that way, but
yeah, we have an Autel
right where you want it to be, and it should be. It's not.
Yeah, we have an Autel that does that, so it's kind of nice to know if it's way
in
out
range, right? All right, so the things you can do in test, if you were to go to the first tab, which is service and maintenance, that doesn't open anything. I don't think any of these open anything. All right. And Tech Tool's not working. Awesome. Let me do that again. I wish I could say this never happens, but that would be a lie. I'm going to log out and log back in.
What time is the pizza showing up?
When you order it.
Well, it wasn't in the specs, buddy. I'm sorry.
Larges.
You guys doing process right now, or?
Tech Tool. We just ran through process. It just got to a point where it froze. I had to restart it.
Is that a Wi-Fi thing, or?
It's a Tech Tool thing. It's going to happen. You guys are going to hate it.
All software like that has issues. There's just so much that it does.
So are we getting that interface that goes in between the laptop? We are.
Yeah, it's on back order. I think it's a month out still.
It's like 12 to 14 weeks.
Still waiting for a microprocessor.
I'm gonna say it's in the C train in Panama.
So then we have to download a app onto the laptop.
Right. Once you get it, call me and I'll send you guys a link, and I'll walk you through. It's real easy to download.
Yeah, that's gonna be IT's.
Okay, I can work with the IT guys.
Yeah.
Turn the fucking thing on.
It's got 14 firewalls and takes, six
Yeah,
months to do for.
we'll get it figured out. I know I had a customer that same thing. I had to take their computer and work on it here and there. It took me 2 weeks to get it working because of their firewalls and stuff. But we'll get it. Okay, let's see if it works this time.
He said he had 40 feet long.
Justin, is your test working, your tech tool, last time you used it?
I don't. Yeah, it was working.
I can't get anything to work. Well, I'm probably going to wind up working with you guys over the phone once I get this working. But if you go into tests and you go into sensor values and monitoring, this thing probably has 50 sensors on it, and you can read the value on every one of them. That's something you probably use daily, at least I do, as far as troubleshooting. But for some reason we can't get it to open. And it may be an update that's needed. Okay, hang on, let me get this. Yeah, we're gonna have to spend time over the phone doing this, just because I can't get it to load. But what questions you guys have, I'm sure, and if you don't have questions right now, or you wanna call me in an hour, or call me next week, or call Justin, we can do that too. But anything you guys have that you wanna talk about on this machine, let us know.
You guys have anything right now that you can think of?
So, Victor, you asked them, do we got to load an app on there? We do, I would imagine.
Right.
So, IT would take care of that. So years ago, at some training I went to, they were saying, you can, if it's CAT, you're supposed to only have CAT on this computer. If it's John Deere, only. And so I mentioned that to our IT people, and they said, well, that's because you got mechanics installing it, you got IT people installing it here. And in my opinion, I don't know if that's ever worked 100% our laptop, but anyway, so is this the same thing? Do they want it sole
They
source?
do want it dedicated, but I work with customers daily that have CAT, Komatsu, they have our software. So I don't know what the truth is to that.
Well,
I get the same thing, but
okay. I'll leave it up to IT.
Are they worried about spying or something?
I don't know what
no,
it is.
they're all large programs.
Yeah,
They're
take
too
a lot
big.
of
They take up
resources
too
on
much.
there, yeah.
Right.
So on our laptop, I think we got CAT, Insight, and John Deere. And now we'll put this one on there.
That might be
Cummins,
that might
that's
be tough.
Insight.
Yeah.
But try it.
Yeah,
I'd say
well,
try it.
I'll let IT worry about it.
Roe was having trouble. His computer was a little slow because he had multiple programs on his. So.
And it has to be Windows 10. I'll send the requirements of what the space that it needs and the operating system and all that.
Windows 10, do you know?
I
You on it
don't know.
yesterday.
I didn't pay attention to that.
Should be.
Grab some cards.
Okay.
Which we usually do.
Is that gonna be a problem in the warehouse?
That's what I came here to ask, is if they're a vendor,
They are a vendor.
we'll get them directly through them.
Yeah. How's your Turlock shop doing?
Turlock's kind of just a store.
Well, do they have
sell parts
filters?
and stuff out of there, right?
I mean, it's because that's easier for us to get them from Turlock than it is from San
That's where
Leandro.
Brad works too. Brad's one of our best parts guys.
So we can get our maintenance stuff from Turlock, and then it's just easy. We do is our truck
It's
drivers
just
go
not a
down
full
there.
Do they work on machines there? I don't even know.
I want to say they have like 1 or 2 techs there, but I'm not 100%. I I think there might be like 1.
Okay,
for
well,
sure.
I'm not
But
terribly
you
worried
need
about that. I'm more
service.
about getting
Parts.
material.
Yeah, you'll be able to get parts from there.
So with the back on the coolant, so it's in our job plan to do a litmus test on it all. Whenever we do a service or whatever, I can't remember. It's been too long because I got bit by it again. And to add an alcohol. I mean, do we need to do that anymore? It's been 15 years since I turned a wrench, and
I would say no.
okay, with the extend life, it's up to
be all
grade where you don't
right.
really have to do that so much anymore.
As far as Volvo's concerned.
All right.
Oh, the liner protector, wasn't there something like that?
The alcohol was keep the
Yeah.
electrolysis down, and at one point it's like, well, we work under the power line, so it jacks it up more. If it does or not, something. Our water truck with a cat engine in it. We had to buy an engine for that because it wasn't grounded properly and we weren't doing tests on the coolant. It got hot, killed it because the coolant was dead. So we had to pay $20-something thousand for a engine with 3,000 miles. So that's always in the back of my mind. I'm sure yours is grounded fine, but how much attention do we got to pay to stuff like that outside the norm?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Any other questions, Bill?
You get the grease address, the oil, everything we got on the shelf is all right. What kind of fuel are we using now? Anyone know? It's not biodiesel, but it's called renewable diesel, I think.
Yeah, it's like
There's no special tools for general service.
No, I don't think there's special tools for general service. No, I know there is a tooth. Oh, you guys don't have a bucket right now, anyway. But there is a tooth removal tool, so like if you guys need to replace the teeth and stuff, it helps out a little bit. It's not required. But you know of any specialty tools for regular maintenance, standard maintenance?
Yeah, the drain. Did this come with quick connects to drain the engine oil and
Didn't
coolant?
have it in the glove.
It's not in here.
No.
You already looked inside the cab?
No, I'm looking cap.
Sometimes they put it on
There
the
is a
back.
special fitting to drain the fluids. Yeah, it's got a quick.
Yeah, don't you just screw that on and it automatically starts draining?
Is it
Clear and
Yeah.
okay?
We have that.
That's it then. It's got a little brass fitting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that's really about it. There's not much else special.
50-hour greasing intervals.
We'll probably.
But you
I
can do
think
it
that-
every day. But
I think they do it. I don't know about the new guys. One of them was like every time the hour meter hit 0, they just get out and grease it. So it was like every 10 hours. So, but well, seemed like every one of those on top of mine.
Isn't there one fitting that needs to be done, like it's a longer term one up front?
Well, yeah, but the racetrack all that's on the side of the window.
This one's 250.
Right. And a lot of them, they don't want you over greasing. If it says 250, I wouldn't do it every 10 hours.
Okay.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
think this the main.
Right,
Not
the
all
main-
Of them. I think they just hit the, and that guy's been retired for a long time. The fuel. So if we're using renewable diesel or whatever, what are we calling it? It's not biofuel, because at one time biofuel with a high pressure it was a big issue, and we don't have that, but we have it. And it's also not red fuel. No issues with
It's
that.
fine as
Okay.
long as it's low sulfur.
It is.
That's all
Yeah,
that's the only requirement
Okay.
that we have for the DPF life. We have a lot of machines that are down on the border of Mexico and they use high sulfur diesel and just kills the SCR system. So that's all I'd stay away from. But you probably can't get it anyway.
I guess that covers it.
And you guys have plenty of points of contact too.
Yeah.
When questions pop up or need stuff. We can drop ship parts out here too. That's something you guys need ahead of time.
If we need it, yeah. But I'm mainly thinking for maintenance stuff. Our drivers can just they go to Modesto, they go to Turlock, get the filters and just keep them on the shelf.
And then we could always do a transfer too, like
Well,
if we had to.
I mean, they actually go to San Francisco, so they could easily go right by the San Leandro yard. Probably easier than they could get to Turlock, huh?
And we have Sacramento as well.
Yeah, we don't go very
Okay.
far. But we do go to San Francisco every 2 weeks, so San Leandro would be easy to pick up stuff.
And then on occasion, Justin would volunteer his services too, if you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, if I'm coming out in the area, I have no problems swinging by the shop, dropping off some parts for you guys. It's not a big deal at all. Especially if you guys are in a pinch, something we can do to get you guys up.
Can't foresee anything, but you never know.
Who would I reach out to as far as active care, getting it set up, getting the right points of contact, so that we can. Okay.
These two.
One of us.
Okay. I'll probably call you
Anyone but me.
in a day or two and maybe send an email.
Okay.
That way we can get that going.
You guys can deal with that. All right, guys. I guess that's it.